Hi, I'm Mike Rosenborg, and I'm your private tutor for OpenStax math books. Right now I'm doing pre-calculus, and I'd like to do calculus, the whole sequence, later on when I get done with the pre-calculus. What I do is I take these OpenStax books, and they're available for free to you, to anyone, online. And I've got the link to their address in the description down below, so check that out. And not only that, but I read all the problems and show them on the board and show them to you on camera. So you can pretty much do the course without using their books, but I recommend using their books because they're good books. And so the books also cover the material thoroughly, which I don't do. What I do is I do cover the material thoroughly, what I do cover, but what I do is go over all of the odd-numbered problems in detail, rather like a solutions manual would do, but only I'm a living solutions manual. Okay, so I'm like a personal tutor for you if you have troubles with a problem, or if you want to check your work. Just look at my videos, and all the problems are numbered in my video, and it's pretty easy to find what you're working on. So of course there's a fee for this. I don't do this for free, right? But for you it's very inexpensive. All I'd like for my fee is that you would like and subscribe. Subscribe to my channels and like my videos if they are of service to you. Alright? So comments are also welcome. Positive or negative. If they're negative, please make it constructive criticism, and I will take that into account. Alright. My qualification is that I have a master's degree in mathematics from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, as you can see. Well, my background is unusual for mathematics. I was not always good at math. Alright, when I was in high school I did very poorly in it, in fact. Well, I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, in the inner city, and I grew up in various tenements, as you can see in the picture. I have run with a street gang, and a lot of my old school buddies have passed away prematurely. Some of them have gone to prison. By the grace of God, I escaped that fate. Alright? So thank you, Lord. I went to Lane Tech. They have a test to get in, and I managed to pass it. Alright? And I went to Lane Tech, an elite public high school in Chicago. And I did very badly at Lane, especially in math. And for proof of that, take a look at these pictures of my course book. This is my original Lane Tech High School course book. That's what we used to call report cards. There's the cover page. That's my name there. And my old address. Don't live there anymore. It's been a long time. And take a look at this grade on my freshman year. Look at the math score. Algebra. Straight D's, yeah. I did manage to do pretty well in PE. That was good. If you look at my sophomore year, I took geometry and I managed to eke out a C in the last quarter, as you can see. I didn't do too well in the other courses either, for that matter. And then my junior year, I don't have that there because I didn't take any math that year. I needed a vacation, I guess. And then I went into my senior year, and I took algebra. They called it Algebra 3 Trig. It's basically equivalent to pre-calculus, what I am helping you with now. Can you believe that? So take a look at those grades. D, F, D, D. Wow. I actually failed that second quarter, and if you on the back of that page there in red are the reasons why. which the teacher was required to check if somebody failed. So those were the good old days, the good old bad old days in mathematics. So yeah, my heart was just not into it, and I was not a serious student, and I think I had the mental capacity for it, but well, they actually lost me in my freshman year. I'm not going to say the teacher was bad, but I wasn't a good student, and I just didn't pay attention. I didn't, you know, I just got totally lost in that class. And the problem with math is if you get lost for a little while, you're going to be lost for the rest of the course, because math builds upon previous concepts. If you learn them well, then they'll help you out in the rest of the course. But if you miss something, because it repeats over and over again later on, you're going to be missing those things too. So it builds up. It becomes like a cumulative losing streak. So if you're having trouble in math, maybe it's something you missed way back in the beginning, and now it's totally baffling you now, and it's because you never did go back and address that one little issue maybe. So if that's where you are, I recommend that you go back to where it started getting confusing, and then go over it again. All right. OpenStax is excellent for doing that. If you want to learn it on your own, if you missed out when you were in school, and maybe you're out of school now, and you'd like to go back and learn it in your spare time, well, by all means, now is a great opportunity. Just download it for free, go through the material, and consult my videos anytime you need help. And I'll be there 24/7 on YouTube, all right? All you need is internet access. So anyway, I managed to just barely graduate Lane Tech. I did get a diploma, but I wasn't really college material, so I couldn't even think of doing that. And I enlisted in the United States Marines in 1972. I became a rifleman, MOS 0311. MOS means Military Occupational Specialty. 0311 is rifleman, basically infantry. So I enjoyed that, actually. It was a lot of fun. I like physical things. And I became a born-again Christian after being in for a couple of years, and I think that was the main thing that turned my life around. But I'm not going to get into all of the details of that in this video. It's not the purpose of this video. But you can communicate with me later on if you wish. My contact information is in the description. And if I have time, I might tell you my testimony. But yeah, after a couple of years in the Marines, I became a Christian, and then I served a total of 4 years on active duty. I was in Camp Pendleton, California, with the 1st Marine Division, India Company 3-1. That's 3rd Battalion, 1st Marine Regiment. And I went over to Okinawa, served in the 2nd Battalion, 9th Marines, and that's on Camp Schwab in Henoko, Okinawa. And then I went over to Camp Lejeune and served there for the rest of my tour, and I got out. And it was my honor to serve my country in the Marine Corps, and I got my honorable discharge. Now, after I got out, I was in Chicago back home, and I was browsing in the old Crocs and Brentano's bookstore that was on 29 South Wabash Street. That was their flagship store in Chicago. It's now closed, unfortunately. It was a great bookstore. I used to go there when I was in high school and drool over the slide rules. If you're familiar with a slide rule, I used to drool over the post-Versalog slide rules. But at the price of $20, I couldn't afford one. It was about like what an expensive graphing calculator would cost nowadays. So I had to satisfy myself with a cheap post slide rule, but it was still a nice one. And I had fun with that, even though I didn't know a lot of math to go with it. I still had fun with it. Well, when I was browsing in the bookstore in the math section, I found a book by Marvin L. Bittinger and Mervyn L. Keedy that seemed to explain algebra very clearly. I was just riffling through the pages. Here's the book cover. And I still have the original copy. I bought that book, and that was one of the most important purchases of my life, but I didn't know it at the time. You see, I'd always been interested in science, but I found math to be an insuperable barrier. I could not do the math, and there's a lot of math in science. So I always was aware of my lack there, and you know, even though I enjoyed my time in the Marine Corps, 4 years of that was enough for me for a while at least, and so I needed to do something else. And anyway, I took the book home and I worked on it. Worked through the entire book on my own in my spare time, and this was also over a few moves here and there around the country. And that's over a period of 2 years. I went through the entire book in my spare time. And at the very end, I understood algebra for the first time. What I did was I read through the descriptions in the text, the lessons, and then I did the homework problems. I did the odd-numbered problems. And I checked the answers in the back. The answers to all the odd-numbered questions were in the back of the book. And so I was able to see if I was doing well, which I think is very important. The answers are there for a reason, not so that you can look ahead of time, but to check your work to see if you're making progress. And if you didn't get the correct answer, that inspires you to go back. By the way, if you're working through a problem, and you can't figure it out, and you honestly try your best to figure it out and nothing happens, it's always fine to go in the back of the book and look at the answer, and that might give you a clue as to how to get there. So you know, that's not considered cheating. Okay, so try that if you ever get stuck. So this inspired me to go back to school and become a math major of all things. And I went to Cabrillo Community College in Aptos, California. I took algebra trigonometry, first course I took, and I aced the course. And it was so easy after going through that book. And the professor, you know, thought I was kind of wasting my time in his class because I already knew the material. But I wanted to make sure I learned it correctly, you know, not having had any kind of a solid academic background in math. And there you go. I had the proof now. It was on record that I actually knew this stuff. So my favorite calculus instructor, I took the calculus sequence there as well later on, Wanda Garner, she's now gone, God rest her soul, wrote this recommendation for me. And it was I was trying to get into Stanford after Cabrillo and continue on, but unfortunately it didn't impress Stanford enough, so I wasn't accepted. But it was still a great recommendation. Thank you, Wanda. And then I transferred, well, I was accepted to Cal Poly, California Polytechnic State University in San Luis Obispo, California. And it's an excellent school, and the price was right compared to other schools. It was a bargain, really. And so I went there. I didn't have a lot of money to throw around, you know, I was pretty poor. But yeah, it was an excellent education, outstanding in fact. And I did actually earn a master's degree in mathematics. So here's a reference letter that Dr. Steve Weinstein wrote for me. He was the head of the math department there at Cal Poly at that time. And he wrote me a reference letter for use after I started looking for a job outside of Cal Poly. And that was a great recommendation. My head was up in the clouds, you know, getting these recommendations. You know, you might think I'm bragging, but really it was a mind-blowing experience to get those after not doing well in academics and especially math for most of my life up to that point, and getting those letters was wow. I couldn't believe that was my name on there, you know, so I was wondering if I was dreaming, but there it was. My name was on there, and so I kept those letters, and they still affect me to this day when I read over them. So after I got my master's degree, I wrote letters of thanks to Doctors Bittinger and Keaty, and those are the authors of the college algebra book that I first picked up at Crocs and Brentano's, and it was their excellent book that got me started on my new life. And both of them wrote nice letters back, but Professor Keaty was retired at that point, but Dr. Bittinger was still writing textbooks. He was still working, and so he gave me a job doing some accuracy checking in one of his publications, and that job led to another job, which led to another job with Dr. Bittinger, and so on and so on. And I had also the great privilege of meeting Dr. Bittinger and his wife Elaine in Indiana, and here's a picture of Marv, that's his name, Marv Bittinger, and myself in Indiana. And when I was there, I got him to autograph my copy of his book, my original copy. So there's his autograph, and something that I will always treasure, because I consider Dr. Bittinger and also Dr. Keaty my mentors, but especially Dr. Bittinger, because I was able to actually meet him and talk to him, and also do a lot of work for him and his publications. And later on, he wrote me a great recommendation letter for a college teaching position, which unfortunately I didn't get that one either. These guys, you know, they write me great recommendation letters, and I have to apologize to them because it didn't seem to work out. And so I don't know, I don't think I'll be asking anyone for any more recommendation letters. But anyway, he wrote this letter for me, which is another good letter, and I thought, wow, I still couldn't believe getting those kind of letters. So I also met a man named Pat McCaig, and that was in San Luis Obispo, California, and he also is a big math publisher, or he used to be. He's retired now, but I also got to do some accuracy checking of his math books for him, and that was a great pleasure for me. And he wrote me a nice letter, as you can see here, another nice letter. So I later moved on to teach high school math for 16 years in Canyonville Christian Academy. It's in Canyonville, Oregon, and I was also the math department head there. Marv Bittinger even paid a visit to our school and observed me in class teaching my calculus class, and he also addressed a school assembly, and the students loved him. It was great. It was a great time. When I was there, I taught everything from basic algebra up through linear algebra, including discrete mathematics and AP calculus. I taught the first ever AP course at that school. The school has a long history, but they had never had an AP advanced placement course until I got there, and I started AP Calculus AB, and from then on they've had AP Calculus at that school and other AP courses as well. In fact, right now at the present time, this is January of 2019. One of my former students is teaching math there right now, and he's teaching AP Calculus. His name's Arthur Huang, and he went, when he graduated from Canyonville Christian Academy, he went to Penn State and got his degree in electrical engineering, and he came back. He's got a great passion for teaching, and he wants to impart his knowledge to young people, and that's what he's doing at the school. And he's in my very same classroom that I used for the whole 16 years I was there. He's teaching AP Calculus, among other things. And so congrats to you, Arthur, and God bless you. So here's another an excerpt rather from a testimony of another former student I had, Roy Lee. He went on to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and he wrote me this little unsolicited testimony, and this was one of the best recommendation letters I could have ever gotten. I mean, when you get it unsolicited from a student, you know you've arrived as a teacher. And so I'm really proud of that letter, probably more proud of that than any other letter I've gotten. So thank you, Roy, for that letter. I really appreciate it. Well, now, what am I doing? I'm retired from teaching and pretty much devoting my time to these videos. I'm continuing studying mathematics, advanced mathematics on my own. Right now I'm, let me show you what I'm reading through. This book here, Computational Homology, just something I'm interested in, but yeah, I'm working my way through that now. But yeah, I'm still working on math. Even though I'm retired, I'm really enjoying life now, and I'm enjoying doing these videos for you. So I'm not being paid for these. As you might know, Rice University produces the OpenStax books, and I suppose their professors wrote everything. They're math professors in those books, at least the math books, and so I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not getting paid by Rice. I didn't apply to them to do this. I just decided to do it on my own, and I like the concept of a free textbook, and I thought, you know, they do have a solutions manual that goes along with the textbooks, but you have to be an instructor to get access to those. And you know, it's maybe if you wrote them a letter and told them your situation, they might relent and give you one. But I think, in my opinion, I'll just go on out on a limb and say that my videos are probably better than using a solutions manual, because I'm talking. Sometimes I go off on a tangent, and I'll give you more information about. I don't go off on a wild tangent. I mean, close. I'm still close to the curve, all right? I stay close to the curve, but I go off on a little tangent sometimes and give you a little more information than the problem calls for in order to help you learn how to do these problems better. And so I enjoy doing that. And I show all the details to the problems on my super bright fluorescent board. And it's got UV lights in it, and it lights up that fluorescent ink like crazy. I love that. I love the math to be in focus primarily. That's what I want you to focus on, the math. And I show it in detail. I explain my moves. I explain what I'm doing. And so you know, it'll help you to learn this stuff. So yeah, since I'm doing this entirely on my own, and I'm not getting paid for this, you know, it would be nice if I were getting paid for this, but I'm not. So the only way I can make money off of this is if you like and subscribe. If I get enough subscriptions and enough views and likes, I could monetize the pre-calculus videos. Now, I won't be able to do that with calculus because OpenStax does not allow you to make money off of the calculus books. So I won't be allowed to monetize those, so I won't. but I still want to do those. I still want to do those because I think it's an important topic and a great subject, and I taught it for many years, and so yeah, I want to still teach it now, but to a bigger audience. And so yeah, I'm still going to do those videos, but the one thing I could get monetized would be these pre-calculus videos. So I'm asking you to please consider that your fee for watching my videos. Just like and subscribe and watch it as much as you can. Spread the word about these videos. It's kind of hard getting the word out there, you know, when you're just starting. And the site's also under construction. I still have to complete the whole set. It's going to take a while because you know, there are a lot of problems in each section, and there's like 12 chapters, and there's something like 5 or 6 sections per chapter. So, and some of these sections have nearly 100 problems. That's in total. So you know, it takes a long time to do these, but I'm plugging away. I'm going to keep doing it, and eventually I will get done with these. So I appreciate your viewership, and most of all, I hope that you get something out of these videos. I hope it makes you into a mathematician, or at least it helps you to understand what you're studying, okay, and to get a good grasp of it. And that's my goal as a teacher. That's always been my goal. I don't want you to fail. I don't want to see people fail. I used to hate when students didn't get it, and you know, I tried to explain it to them, but sometimes they just didn't catch on. So I hope you're not one of those. At least with these videos, you can go back and review them if you need to. And there are other resources out there that you can use as well. But I want to see you succeed in mathematics and not be like I was for a long time, for many years, just totally in the dark. It's a beautiful subject. It's a beautiful creation of the human mind, and it's very, very powerful. And so watch the videos. All right, like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Take care. God bless. All right.